Well, hello everyone. Hey, it is Karen McDermott Rolfe, independent advisor with Creative Memories. Today I'm going to share a scrapbooking technique with you and then challenge all of you to use the technique to create the layout. Take a photo of your layout and share it with me in my private Facebook group, Karen's Croppers, for an entry into my September door prize drawing. While you're in Karen's Croppers, go to the album section and look for the album titled Technique Tuesday 74. That is 74 different albums, you guys, full of scrapbooking ideas and inspiration for you. You can also find the printable handout with instructions for the layout I'm going to share on my blog at karencrops.com. You'll find information there about how to shop with me, my events, whether they be in person or virtual. And then thank you so much, and I really appreciate all of your purchases through my Creative Memories website link at creativememories.com/user/Karen, and it's Karen with the Y. Don't forget about my customer rewards program. Alrighty, about 10 days ago or so, I shared a video with you giving you a sneak peek at one of the layouts for my virtual Croptoberfest workshop. This is the bonus layout, so that is why I'm sharing it. But my other layouts for this event are all exclusive. The only way you're going to see those 4 double-page layouts, and then I've got another bonus layout, another double-page bonus layout for you too, is by registering and joining me for my virtual Croptoberfest event. We'll have some Zoom sessions on September 26th and 27th, but if those dates are bad for you, no worries. You're still going to receive the recorded video instructions, the printable handouts, and then I also have a private Facebook group for sharing. And if you look here in the description of this video, I will share the registration link for you. And then make sure you take a look here at that video that I shared, because I talk a little bit more about Croptoberfest, my layouts, and I talk about and I give a little demo of the new inks and stencil from Creative Memories, and I did use that on this layout. But I did not use the inks or stencils for my other Croptoberfest layouts, so it's not a requirement to have the inks. And I've already published and posted, shared my supply list for my virtual Croptoberfest event. You can find that on the registration form, you can see it on my blog, you can find it on Facebook, so I've shared it in multiple ways. But you're going to need that Croptoberfest bundle and the Croptoberfest kit. Those are 2 separate items. The kit is not in the bundle, so make sure you get both of those. And then I also used the new chrysanthemum punch pretty extensively on 2 of the layouts, okay? But if you view this older video, and you'll get some more information about that. And I hope you can join me, because I'd love to see you on Zoom and we can interact together. All right, for the layout today, I've used the Grateful Harvest collection. This is our new fall collection that launched at the end of last month. It's a beautiful collection. The embellishments and the stickers are really beautiful. They've got that watercolor wash look, very pretty. And you can see the lovely color palette here. There's 2 paper packs. This is the Tone on Tone paper pack, and then there's also the designer pack. For my layout today, one of my layouts, I've used the Tone on Tone papers from the Grateful Harvest. So let's take a look at that. Here is the layout. Let me just pull this other stuff aside so you can see a better look at it. And this is the layout that I've made for my technique this month. And what I've done is I've used the Border Maker system, and in this case I used the new Acorns and Leaves Border Maker cartridge. Okay, this came out also with Grateful Harvest, and you can see it punches a border of leaves and acorns. And what I did is I punched a hollow square, a hollow frame, using the Border Maker system. So I am going to demonstrate to you how to do that to create this layout. One of the things that I did too is I just used 1 sheet of paper, and I used both the front and the back. So in this instance, we had the orange kind of tonal print on the one side, and then the green plaid on the other. So that could be something to look for. And then I've also created some cute little flower embellishments using that chrysanthemum punch also. So I just did some layering. I did some ink and pen work. You can see the detail there. And then I did use the new ink from Creative Memories. And I am loving this little one, this rich cocoa. It really matches our hot fudge color. And what I've been doing is using this to ink the edges of my paper, my cardstock, my mats, my embellishments. I pretty much inked the edges of everything. I went a little crazy with this ink. I do want to say, let me give you, so I gave a little demo in my last video, so make sure you watch that also. But I forgot to mention in that video a few things about the ink. What I've noticed is it takes a few extra seconds for this ink to dry as compared to our dual tip pens. We know the pens dry pretty much instantaneously, right? But this one's going to take a few little seconds. So if you ink the edges of something and then you set it down, like say you set it down on your paper, you might get some of that ink on your paper, or you might get it on your new countertop, okay? And it is a permanent ink, but my husband says he can get this off for me. But so just be a little careful with that when you're inking, to give it a little second to dry, or to have some scrap paper or something that you could set it on to give it a minute to dry, or just kind of hold it and blow on it or wave it around a little bit to help it dry. So but the demo video I'm going to make now with you here on the video, I'm going to be using the last materials from our last secret box. You guys, this was really popular. I had several customers purchase 2 secret boxes just to get an extra pack of the materials. They love the paper, the stickers, and the embellishments that much. I don't know, Creative Memories has done some strange things this year with the secret box. We know we're going to get that bonus secret box, number 5, in December, so that's going to be something new and different. But you can only purchase that 5th box if you purchase boxes 1 to 4, right? And I think it was when secret box number 2 came out, they re-released secret box number 1. So everyone who missed secret box 1 had another chance at getting it. So I don't have any inside info on this, you guys, none at all. But I am hoping that maybe here towards the end of the year, Creative Memories might release some of the secret boxes. So in case you missed one, you can purchase it, and then you'll be able to get that 5th box, okay? I have no idea if Creative Memories will do that. I don't know what their quantities are, but I'm just hoping. So let's keep our eye out for that. But I used a sheet from the Wandering Wild paper pack here. And I've selected this sheet because I wanted a tonal print on one side. So we've got the tonal kind of island water print here, and then we have a more designer print on this side, okay? And I'm going to use the Border Maker cartridge that came with the secret box, and this was called Follow the Trail Chain. So the thing to remember about this technique I'm going to show you is that you want to use a chain style Border Maker cartridge. When you look at the back end, the back side here of the Border Maker cartridge, you'll see that the metal, it's not connected. It's separated. See, it looks like a chain. So you know that when you punch it, it's going to fall right off. It's not connected to your cardstock or your paper. You don't need to cut it off like you do with an edge style or with a knockout style. Okay, so you want a chain style Border Maker cartridge. And you can do this technique really with any size square, but I'm just going to use the 12 by 12 size. And you want to carefully fold it in half on the diagonal. And you want to line up the sides and be as precise as you can, because this is going to impact your punching. Okay, and then you can go ahead and give it a pretty good crease. Lots of times I don't like to crease paper too hard, but we do want it to kind of lay as flat as possible, because again, that's going to help with your punching. You're going to open up the tray of the Border Maker system, and if you punch from top to bottom, it really doesn't matter, but the thing is, we don't want to punch on this corner that's opened. Okay, we're going to punch here. So if you're like me and you start at the top, see I've got a folded end, we've got a folded end, we're going to put at the top, okay? And I'm putting it in the tray and lining it up just like we normally do. Closing the arm, closing the tray. So it is nice and tight and it's not going to slide on me. And now I'm going to go ahead and I am going to punch. I'm going to start there at the top at that folded end. Punch. And you're punching through 2 layers of paper. So you can see that I had to almost use both hands to press that down a little bit. But you want to stop 1 notch from the bottom. Okay, don't punch all the way through or you're just going to punch it off. You're not going to get your hollow frame. So stop where you have that 1 remaining notch. Something else too important, you guys, really important. Don't do this technique with cardstock. Cardstock is too heavy and it's going to jam up your cartridge, okay? Cardstock is too heavy. Our shimmer paper would be beautiful. You know the shimmer paper? That's kind of lightweight. It's got a lightweight, so that would be great along with our designer paper. And you know, if you're using papers from other companies, again, I'd be really careful because of the weight, okay? So you want to look for a lighter weight paper. So now I have the other side we need to punch. And again, since I punch from the top, I'm going to just fold this over and I'm going to punch or place this other folded edge in the tray. So that's the other folded edge is now in the tray and I'm just going to punch like we did before. Again, stop 1 notch from the bottom, okay? So you're gonna have 1 punch we still need to do. We need to open it up and refold it on the other diagonal, okay? And again, being as careful as possible to line it up precisely because that's gonna impact whether this lines up and meets, okay? You want it to meet and line up. So let's get this as close as we can. Okay. And then as you get over here to the sides, really what you want is this punched pattern on the top to match up with your punch pattern on the bottom, because that is where we're going to continue punching, and we really want this here to line up, okay? Let me come in close. See, we want these 2 layers to line up because we're going to continue punching. So now as I go over to the other side, again, I'm really looking at that punched pattern, lining it up, and then making my fold, okay? We're going to open up the tray. And we're going to do the same thing we did before. We're going to put that folded end onto the tray. It can get a little unwieldy for you. You've got all these layers. You've got these lines. Don't tear off those lines just yet because they help to keep everything lined up. But I'm not worrying so much about what's happening down here. You can see it's not lined up so good. I'm not worrying about that. I'm worrying about right up here because I just need to do that 1 punch, right? So I have this right at the tippy top because we're going to just punch that 1 notch and we need this to be right there at the beginning and we need to get it in. And sometimes it's a little tricky to get it in. So just take your time, kind of jimmy it in. There we go. See, it just took a few seconds of wiggling it to get it right. It's in the notch now. And I'm going to press. And then be gentle when you take it out because you don't want to tear it. Okay. And we're going to do the other side. So again, I'm putting that folded edge here in the top. I'm not worrying about what's happening down here. Again, I'm just making sure that this is up in the corner, that that folded point is in my corner. And then I'm going to try to get this in again. You just have to have a little patience. There we go. It's in my notch, and I'm going to press. There we go. Perfect, I think. Okay. So let me clear off my table space. We're going to do the big reveal. Let's unfold this and see what we got. Voila! There we have that punched hollow frame. Isn't that cool? Now sometimes, you know, a little wonky things happen to your four corners. If you don't have it lined up really well, you might get some other kind of little shapes, or say one of these shapes, mine was lined up pretty perfect. And that's kind of a shock to me because usually when I'm recording, I don't get everything exactly perfect. But if it weren't, say one of these was kind of wonky, you could just take your microtip scissors and just trim it. Maybe trim off all four corners and just have a square corner, okay? So if any of these got kind of weird, you could do that. Now when I did my first layout, my corners came out great. Look at how my corners were. But I think in this bottom corner, let me take it off, 2 of my acorns, they didn't line up. See, so I kind of have this mouse-shaped acorn. So that was a great spot for a little embellishment. Okay, so that's what I did with that. Okay. So, and then we're going to take the inside, let's get it flattened out. And since we punched it, we might have some kind of uneven ends, especially here at the corners, and I see that that has happened. So I am going to just trim off a slight amount just to even that up on all 4 sides. Just taking off about a hair, making sure I get a nice square piece. Now, if you used a tonal paper that doesn't have a print on the back side that you want to use, instead you could just cut a second piece of paper to fit in the opening. And this came out to be about, let's see what this is. Oh, it's just shy of 9 3/4. Okay, 9 3/4. I see right there is still a little jagged. I missed that. Okay. So we're just, you can adhere this down, use your repositional tape. And there we go. We have this frame that's created by the caramel cardstock that I'm using as my background. And these pretty colors together. I love that island water with that caramel color. So pretty. And then you can play around with, you know, your mats, what you'd like to do here. What was I thinking? I think I was thinking maybe something like this for this one. And then I'm going to take a look at my stickers and embellishments and come up with a little cluster to do down here. So give me a second to get all this taped down, and then I'll show you the embellishments and stickers that I chose. Alrighty, everybody, I am back. I took a few minutes here to adhere the background paper and the hollow frame. And I also took a few minutes to do some inking using the Memento ink pad in the Rich Cocoa. So I just went around and I swiped the edges here of all of my photo mats, giving a little extra attention maybe to the corners. You can see how it's a dry ink and that you can kind of build up, start light, and then go over it and over it to build it up. So I already had a layer of ink on this one, and I'm just going around and giving it a little bit more to build it up. I'm going to give it a little wave to let that ink dry so it doesn't smear on my layout when I put it on. I think we're going to go ahead and I'm going to adhere it. It's going to look like this. And I did put some ink around the edges too. So let's go ahead and tape everything down. And we'll get the layout completely finished for you. I'll hold it close to the camera too to give you a closer look here when I'm completely finished. So are you already thinking, what border maker cartridge are you going to use for this technique? Again, take a look at your chain styles. We've had so many different border maker cartridges over the years. There's a lot of different chain styles. So this is going to be a really fun technique and layout to keep an eye on in Karen's croppers to see all the variation that we're going to get. So hopefully we're going to get a lot of variation in border maker cartridges that are selected, along with the paper collections that we're going to be using. I did cut some small pieces here that I'll use as spaces for journaling. And I did go ahead and I inked the edges of these also. Make sure to watch Creative Life Scrapbooking next week. I have a super cute layout to share with Creative Life Scrapbooking, or not next week, this week, the end of the week on Friday, for our featured project Friday. Okay, it's a really cute layout there at the Creative Life Scrapbooking. And now I've made some sticker and embellishment clusters. I've taken, here's a sticker and two of the embellishments. Aren't those cute? And I made a little cluster there. I'm gonna put down here on the bottom. I'm gonna use foam squares to give them a little lift. And I think this guy will go about down here. And then up at the top again, I used one embellishment piece and two of the stickers to make a cluster of 3. Remember, the odd number groupings are more pleasing to the eye, remember? And like I said, I'm gonna layer the piece over both of those photo mats, just a smidge, to bring everything in tighter. These things look better when they're tighter together versus spread out. Just rubbing away some of that repositional adhesive, and I think we're finished. So let's take a look here at how I did finish it. Again, I used that small ink pad to ink the edges of the caramel cardstock background. I used a brown dual tip pen to add a little faux stitching around that inside piece of paper. And then I used the ink pad again to ink my mats, including the journaling boxes. And then I layered some stickers and embellishment to complete the layout. So super cute, really happy with this, how it turned out. And I love this version too. So give the layout a try, take a photo, and share it with me in Karen's Croppers for an entry into my September door prize drawing. And don't forget to register for my virtual Croptoberfest workshop. You'll find the registration link in the description below this video. And also make sure to check out Creative Life Scrapbooking on Friday to see the layout that I'm going to share then. All right, everybody, thanks so much for watching. Have a great month.